Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to my channel Biology Access. So today we are going to do unit 2 May June 2023 question paper. Okay, so let's get started. Question 1. The photograph shows part of a celery plant which has been placed into a beaker of stain. It's a part of a celery plant, okay? And the beaker of stain. A student made a drawing of a cross section of the bottom of the stem of a celery plant before it was placed into the beaker of stain. So this is the picture of a cross section of a root or stem, we can say. Okay, so at first let me just know the name of these parts. Okay, so here it is known as the vascular bundle. Okay, so in a vascular bundle, the down one is the xylem. The closer one to this is known as the xylem, and the upper one is the phloem. So the bottom one is xylem and the upper one is phloem. Okay, and the X is here. The X is the epidermis and W is parenchyma. Okay, so let's move on to the question. 1 hour after being placed into the beaker of stain, the student observed a cross section from halfway up the celery stem. Which of the following would be different color due to the presence of the stem? Okay, so which takes up mineral ions or water soluble things from them through the stem? What takes up? It's the xylem, right? The xylem transports water from the roots to the leaf, you can say. Okay, so here if it takes up the stain, the first thing we will notice colored is the xylem. So here the xylem is Z. So the answer is D. Okay. Okay, question A2. Explain why after 1 hour this part of the stem would be different. Okay, so as I said before, as this is a xylem, it transports the water or mineral ions from the roots to the upper body, I mean the leaf. Okay, so it absorbed the color, or it absorbed the stain, and it transported due to what it showed color, right? Because stain is absorbed by xylem and xylem transport water and ions. This is a definition for 2 mark. Then question B. Cells in the leaf contain organelles that store molecules of starch. Name one organelle in a leaf cell that stores starch. Okay, so what does store the starch? Of course, the chloroplast. Okay, so it's a really interesting question, to be honest. Okay, so let me first tell you something about this type of question. It's quite torturing in exam hall, because during exam we are already in a great pressure, and if we see this kind of question in the exam hall, it's quite torturing. Trust me, it is. And if you cannot answer this type of question, it's like you have losing something very important. But the mark is only 1. Okay, if you do not get this mark, it's fine, you can cover up in the next questions. But if you take pressure and if you're like, no, I cannot do it, maybe the question is really hard, it's just 1 mark, it's just 1 question. Okay, but you will start judging the whole question paper based on this question, this type of question, that the question was really hard, I cannot answer it. But it was but that's not the truth. It's just your mentality towards it. Okay, if you take it really easily, like, yeah, it looks hard, I'm not going to attempt it, because if I give my more time in this question for a 1 mark question, then I will not be able to utilize my time in the other question also. So one thing is that do not waste your time on this type of question if you're not sure about it. And if you think it's hard, then just skip that part, come back to it at the end if you have time. If it's just 1 or 2 mark, okay, skip it. Don't pressurize your brain among such small question, even if it's important, because you have much more work to do during the exam, right? There are lot of question you need to answer, and the time is very limited, trust me. From my O levels to the A levels, the thing of which I chased in the exam hall was time. It was way too much limited. So do not waste too much time on this type of question. If you do not know the answer, if you're confused, just skip it, because it's just 1 mark. I repeat, it's just 1 mark, and it will definitely not affect you in the exam if you can answer the rest of the question in a much better way, especially the question with bigger marks or huge marks. Okay, so do not pressurize your brain like that in the beginning. Okay, so this is the first question. Okay, and you, in the first question, if you get this kind of structure, this kind of question which is quite hard for you, then skip it. I will say skip it, go to the next question, complete the paper first in a relaxed mind. Because if you give your mind a stress, and if you start thinking that, yeah, the question is so hard, this part was really hard, I don't know what to do in the next question, trust me, the paper is going to be very worse. Okay, so let's just move on. I said way too much, but it's just some strategies you need to apply during your exams. Okay, because it's just in the beginning, so few minutes of the exam, 10 minutes, like it's 7 marks question, so for 7 minutes is for this paper, it's for this question. Okay, so you cannot like really pressurize your brain like that, yeah, that, or blame it on yourself that, yeah, I didn't do this study, why didn't I saw the didn't I saw the structure of a starch, it was a really huge mistake. You cannot do that. Okay, you need to move on. If you cannot answer something, skip it, move on to the next question. All right, so let me see. Okay, so let's move on to the question. How many of the following shows the structure of part of a starch molecule? Okay, so what is a starch is made up of? Okay, the starch is basically made up of amylose and amylopectin. Okay, so it's really common that maybe not everyone knows the structure of amylose or amylopectin, because during A levels we need to memorize a lot of theories. Okay, so if it's hard for you, it's also hard for your other mates in the classroom. Okay, remember that. So it's fine if you do not know the structure of amylose or amylopectin. So here the structure, this is the structure of amylose and this is the structure of amylopectin. Okay, so the answer is 2. Give one role of starch molecule in a leaf cell. What is the role of a starch molecule? The starch stores glucose for energy, right? So this is the role of starch. It stores glucose for energy. So let's move on to the next question. C. Transparent plastic film can be made from oil-based plastics or from starch-based plastics. Okay, or from starch. The photograph shows transparent bioplastic film made from starch. Give one reason why the use of starch-based transparent bioplastic film is more sustainable than the use of oil-based plastics. So, it's carbon neutral and biodegradable. All right. So we're done with question 1. Thank you so much.